Coming soon is a Jewish holiday, a holiday for Am Yisrael, for the Jewish people, that we must lift and commemorate and celebrate and embrace entirely in a whole new light, in a whole new way. The 28th of Iyar on the Jewish calendar, the 43rd day of the Omer, each year since 1967, is Jerusalem Day, Yom Yerushalayim. It is the day of celebration of the reunification of the earthly Jerusalem and our connection as a people to both the earthly and the heavenly Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh, Jerusalem, our holy city. Into a war in 1967, you may know we were thrust. And the Jewish people never expected the miraculous opportunity to embrace officially a reunified Jerusalem and the Western Wall and Temple Mount as a part of our heritage in the new land of Israel, the state of Israel. Since 1948, the Jordanians controlled the Western Wall and allowed for no access. Jews had been denied our places in front of what was then a very small sliver of a passageway to the Western Wall and into the crevices and between the stones and rocks. We would pray, but we were denied that since 1948, as it has not been in our hands for thousands of years. On Wednesday morning, June 7th, 1967, 19 years after the Jordanian army had captured the old city and controlled it since, Israeli paratroopers broke through Lion's Gate, the easternmost entrance to the old city. From there, the soldiers tried to make their way to the Western Wall and Temple Mount, but they did not even know the way, the labyrinth, the maze, the pathways of the old city, unfamiliar to them, since we were kept from our holy sites. General Matagor, not far behind them, the commanding general of the paratrooper brigade, reached the Temple Mount and sent that famous message to General Command: the Temple Mount is in our hands. Later that day, he issued the following order to his troops. For some 2,000 years, the Temple Mount was forbidden to the Jews, until you came, you the paratroopers, and returned it to the bosom of the nation. The Western Wall, for which every heart beats, is ours again. Many Jews have taken their lives in their hands throughout our long history in order to reach Jerusalem and live here. Endless words of longing have expressed the deep yearning for Jerusalem that beats within the Jewish heart. You have given the great privilege of completing the circle, of returning to the nation, its capital and holy center. Jerusalem is yours forever. Jerusalem became not only the state's capital, the earthly Jerusalem below, reunified by the IDF for the Jewish people in the state of Israel and around the world, but became, after that, the spiritual Jerusalem that touched the earth, the spiritual center, as it was recorded in the Midrash, the place where Adam and Eve began their journey, and this phase of consciousness of human life, humanity. It is the place where three great faiths of the world find themselves in dialogue despite the tensions and the struggles. It is the place where others come to filter their lives' experiences and feel the connection to what the Midrash calls the navel of the earth. There is an earthly Jerusalem. There is a heavenly Jerusalem. There is a Jerusalem of daily endeavor, and there's a Jerusalem of our longing. In our Amidah every day, Yerushalayim ircha barachamim tashuv, we ask God to return in mercy and to bring about a time of shalom, peace and fullness, shlemut, in the hearts and the minds and the souls of humankind. We pray that the light of Jerusalem shines, that her golden glow inspires new chapters in the history of our people and humankind generally. There is a delight in hearing the hammers and the cranes lifting and the construction sites buzzing, even if it creates the kind of crazy traffic in Jerusalem that we wish we didn't have to navigate. There is an experience of being in Jerusalem, the rebuilt and the being built. There is a reality to the words of our Torah and our Tefillah, our deepest wisdom texts about the well of spiritual power that Jerusalem represents, and the promise of being a capital for all humankind who seeks God's ways and wants to know peace. For that, we celebrate Yom Yerushalayim, for its redemption, for our investment in Jerusalem as a place to live out daily the promise of Jewish peoplehood and its capital, its status as a capital of spiritual endeavor towards a life of fullness, shlemut, and peace. For us, for all Israel, and all the world. Yom Yerushalayim this year begins Sunday night into Monday. Yom Yerushalayim falls each year on the 28th of Iyar, on the 43rd day of the Omer. In 1967, the paratroopers finally found their way. Rabbi Shlomo Goren, the chief rabbi of the Israeli army, appeared on the Temple Mount before Moshe Dayan ordered the removal of the Israeli flag from the top of the Dome of the Rock. When I arrived on the Temple Mount, he said, I blew the shofar. I fell to the ground and prostrated myself in the direction of the Holy of Holies, as was customary in the days when the temple still stood. I went up again on the Temple Mount after descending to pray the Mincha service at the Kotel. And there I read Psalm 49 and blew the shofar and encircled the foundation stone with a Torah in my hand. The power of praying near or on those sacred grounds, or in modern Jerusalem, centered on that spot, standing with our face towards that Holy of Holies. This is an experience that in our lives, our lifetime, is possible and not just a dream. There is, in the words of the psalmist, Psalm 49, a sense that we must announce to all peoples of the world. Shimu zot kol ha'amim, ha'azinu kol yoshvei chalid. Hear this, all you people. Give ear, the inhabitants of the world. Gam b'nei adam, gam b'nei ish, yachad ashir ve'evyon, whether you are rich or poor. Pi yidaber chachamot. We shall speak wisdom. V'hagut libi tivunot. We will gain new understandings. We will do so with Jerusalem as our capital, with Jerusalem as our destination, with Jerusalem in mind for our celebration. On Yom Yerushalayim, this year and every year, we shall proclaim Psalm 49 and Psalm 122 and pray for the peace of Jerusalem for our people and for the world. Chag Yom Yerushalayim Sameach.